How does it feel to live your true soul calling? I'm going to describe what I feel after I just led a mystical, shamanic, half Egyptian spiritual healing experience. And you know how it feels when you do what you were born to do. So if you're born to be a healer, then nothing compares than what you were born to do. If you're born to be a teacher, nothing compares with what you're born to do. Time completely flies, and you are one with the moment. You are one with the joy of service. So many people are looking for their soul calling. Some people have built very successful careers just to realize that their heart is not there anymore. Some people build very stable, good businesses just to realize that their heart is not there anymore. And the calling of the soul to become aligned doesn't stop. And you experience that as something is calling you forward into a different reality, into a different experience. And I'm making this video to encourage you to trust that. It doesn't mean that your path to actualize your soul calling will be a straight line. It's not going to be a straight line. But you're going to recognize that you're on the right path by these body sensations, the sensation of bliss, the sensation of flow when you're doing the work that you are meant to do. 10 years ago, I led my very first group healing experience. I didn't have much experience. I didn't have much confidence, I would say. But I recognized an opportunity to step into my gifts. And I was guided to this spiritual technology that felt so aligned for me. And it was a spiritual technology to clear the karmic wounds and the blocks and to get into the space of spiritual transformation, but in a way that is well held, right? You got to build a spiritual container for that transformation and create a protection and set an intentions. And I got certified in that methodology, and after I got certified, I went and put my skills immediately into practice, and I gathered my very first group of 5. And I remember being nervous and excited and feeling all kind of feels. But the moment I opened the video screen, because it was delivered on Zoom, and the moment I went through the first few minutes of nervousness and awkwardness, I knew I was home. The moment I opened the ritual space and the moment I invoked spiritual beings and archangels and guides, I was home. And I knew I found something that was mine to grow into and to develop. Clearly, mastery was a far journey for me, but I found something that I could orient myself to. I could focus on developing. I found my soul work. And what I find when it comes to our soul work, if you can think in terms of archetypes, it's easier to map this journey. So I found that there's these 4 main archetypes out of so many you can work with. But the first one is a healer, right? Because in order for us to step into our soul calling, we get to do deep inner transformational work. We get to attend to our wounds and our karma and our conditioning. We get to do this deep transformative process. And then sometime on the line, we feel inspired to share what we what we transform, what we process, and we naturally share that. We naturally begin to share our wisdom and our experience. And it begins with one-on-one sharing with your friends, and then somebody comes to you and say, hey, can you teach me what you know? So the healer and then the teacher, right? Because in order to take your soul calling and to really actualize it, you get to be a student. You get to study a lot about your craft and how do you develop your unique style. And then, for example, if you feel called to be a healer, then you get to develop a very strong educator in you and to educate others on how they can receive healing and eventually become healers of themselves. So I see that healer and teacher archetypes work really, really well together. And then, of course, you can develop your inner magician and inner priestess or inner priest. But this video is really about the energetics, since I just finished leading a virtual healing experience and it feels so incredibly amazing. So incredibly amazing. I wanted to share with you that vibration. That if you are asking yourself, where is my soul calling? Follow what gives you this timeless feeling of incredible flow and deep soul satisfaction. And be willing to develop any and all skills required for you to take this craft, this soul calling, to its highest form of expression. Maybe it's not your calling to be on world stages and to become the most visionary, world-known healer. Maybe it's not what lights you up. Maybe you want to be a go-to resource in your community, online community or in person. And how can you develop your craft? How can you become more and more expressed in doing what you love, in what's your true soul calling? And if you have a career that pays the bills, I don't encourage you to burn it down and to walk away from it unless that's the only option that you feel. I actually encourage pretty much everybody to make the transition gradual. That's what I did, a gradual transition, right? And then you will know when it's time to walk away from what doesn't fulfill you anymore. It's going to be this clarity, and you also you prepared the ground, right? And some of you rascals need to burn the ships and need to burn the bridges, because that's the only way you're going to step into your calling. So if that's you, I've done that. I had a gradual process, and I also burned the bridges and burned the ships. So my journey was a little bit of both. And I can tell you it's worth it. And you are never done. There is always more to develop. There is always more to unfold in yourself. You know, I don't really care about the terms of achievement. There's nothing to achieve. A certain level of consciousness, you don't think about achievement. You just kind of go beyond that. What I do think there is a lot more to unfold when it comes to our true nature and our true soul power. And I'm all about that, sharing inspiration, tools, and encouragement for those who want to hear this. This was Katerina Satori. If a topic of soul calling is very, very dear to your heart and you're looking for that alignment, that's what I do on one-on-one. And in my energetic healings and clearings and courses, check out what's available if I can be of service. May the deep satisfaction of the joy of service and of living your true calling bloom in your heart.